Good morning, Shona here. I'm at my kitchen table today. Just finished my cup of tea, and I'm thinking that I should have had a cup of coffee this morning because I'm having a whale of a time getting this video. Usually I record them straight through and we're good. This is my third attempt. It's just not gelling. So if this one doesn't work, I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee. So, anyway, welcome to my Into the Bible video this morning. If you are a returning visitor, thanks for coming back. I hope that you're finding a comfort level getting into the Bible with the help of these videos. If you're new, this is just a Bible strategy or a reading strategy to help you find a comfort level in the Bible so that you don't necessarily have to always sit down with a commentary, a Bible study, or a Bible teacher sitting across the table from you to get the message that God has directly for you through His Word. Today, we are in Matthew 9, and just a reminder, our theme is, are we elevating man over God or God over man? And as usual, I love the whole chapter that I'm in, chapter 9, but I really honed in on a stretch between verses 10 through 13. The setting is Jesus is in a home and he's eating with a bunch of tax collectors and sinners. And the Pharisees are horrified. They can't believe, what is this man doing? They just see this as horrible. Now, I mentioned in one of my earlier videos that we would be encountering the Pharisees. Well, this is the first time we're encountering them in our videos. Just to let you know, the Pharisees were a sect of Bible scholars who really knew the Bible backwards and forwards, but they missed Jesus when he came. So it's like they were all about like the Bible, which is good, but they were all more about themselves because they elevated themselves over God. And they're going to be a really great example of this bad attitude from here on out through much of the videos that we're going to be doing. So these Pharisees, they look down their nose at everybody. They're more into traditions that they have created, more so than understanding really about God. They knew the Old Testament, they knew the scrolls, they knew all of this stuff, but when Jesus came, they missed Jesus, and they even looked down their nose at Jesus. And this is one of those instances. So they're appalled that Jesus is eating in the home of tax collectors and sinners. So they scurry over to his disciples, kind of like gossipy little church ladies, and they ask them, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? But Jesus heard, and he said, those who are well don't need a doctor, but the sick do. Go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Now here is the kicker verse for me, what really stood out to me. For I didn't come to call the righteous, but call the sinners. Now, I believe what he's saying here, the righteous that he's talking is none of us are righteous apart from Jesus. But I think it's maybe he's poking a little bit at these self-righteous Pharisees, saying, okay, you guys are all righteous and you think you're perfect. I didn't come for you, even though they were the ones that really needed him, but they don't recognize that they need him. But he came to call sinners. Sinners here are the people that recognize they're sinners and know that they need a Savior and know that they need help. So for me, this was like a news flash that everybody's needy. Christians aren't the only needy people, and we need to know that. I think sometimes in our Christian circles, at least for me, and a lot of people that I have been around and what I've observed, is that we think that we just need to run around in our little Christian church circles, and we need to be nice to those people, we need to help those people, and they probably do need help, but we are limiting God's scope of ability to help when we only think that we need to help our Christian friends. Christians, yes, are needy, but there's a lot of needy people outside the Christian circles. Now, Christians have a lot of people from the outside looking in think that Christians should be perfect, shouldn't have any problems. You know, some Christians think they aren't sinners. We really get a bad rap, and some people deserve it. They're like the Pharisees. They're like the little church ladies that think they're so wonderful. Like I used to be. But we need to broaden. Yes, we need to meet need in the church, but we need not to look down our noses at people with need outside of the church walls or outside of our little church bubble that we put ourselves in. We just need to recognize that we're sinners, even though we're Christians, but even people outside, the sinners outside the Christian realm, they need help and they're needy as well. One of the problems that we run into when we do decide to step out of our church circles is some people think, ooh, well, if you step out and you go to this deplorable place to help where the needy are, then you're just hanging out with them, kind of like Jesus was accused of hanging out with sinners. Well, that can be if we don't remember this. We have to remember that we're there to shine the light and not join in the darkness. We're there to help, not necessarily hang out. We're there to get into the gutter to lift people out, but we're not there to join people in whatever sin it is that they have or whatever is causing their problem in that place. It could be drunkenness, it could be homelessness, it could be drugs, it could be everything. Some problems are more gutter looking than others, but they're all sin. And I don't mean to sound like I'm elevating or I'm making one sin sound better, but some places are where we really need to go, like tax collectors back in Jesus's day. They were considered deplorable. So for Jesus to eat with them, it was horror. The Pharisees were so offended. So I'd like to share just a couple of examples that I've encountered during my journey that where Christians get down in the trenches, get down in the gutter with people who need help being lifted out. And they lift those people, they shine the light, and they don't succumb to the gutter. They don't end up wallowing in it themselves. But one was a pastor of a small, poor church in a community not far from where I live. The church was hopping when it was open. It was open on Sundays, and it had Sunday morning for service. But it also had a few services during the week, like Wednesdays for youth and then Bible studies for people. But other than that, the church didn't have regular hours because the pastor had to go work. He had to have a job. So he chose to go work as the teen court coordinator in a town still not too far from here. Oh my goodness, those teens needed help. There were so many of them in the gutter. Some of them are in the trenches. They were there because their parents didn't care. They were there maybe because they hadn't made great choices as young people. But whatever reasons they were there in those trenches, in those gutters, they needed help. They needed the light shine in the dark place where they were at. And this pastor did that. And he elevated, I don't know how many kids he helped set on the right path because he shined the light. But he did, and he walked that fine line, helping without becoming a part of it. Another one that comes to mind is our prison ministries. There are so many of them out there. There are people that go inside the prison walls. There are people that minister to those who are outside the prison walls, maybe when they get out, or to the families of those who are incarcerated. Talk about some trenches. These are places where there is a lot of need, and there is a lot of hurt, and there is a lot of grief. But these people, they go in, they shine the light in these places. They work to lift people out. And they do this without joining the darkness. Just like Jesus didn't lose who he was when he ate with all the sinners and all the tax collectors, Jesus didn't become a tax collector and he didn't become a sinner. We can do that too. These people that work in prison ministries, they go work among these prisoners, these felons, these murderers, the people who might be in there without needing to be in there. They go help without becoming one of them, but yet they shine the light and lift people out. And then me, I work in a crisis pregnancy center, and I love the people that come in. Most of them are not Christian, but I love lifting them up and encouraging them with the challenges that they face. So see, we can do it. We're called to do that. We need to step out and beyond our Christian bubble and help those that are in the trenches. We need to get in the trenches with them without succumbing to that. So that was my message for this Into the Bible video. I can't wait to know what messages you guys are getting directly from God, and hope that you'll share them with me if you've got a really great one. Thanks, and I hope you'll join me next time on Into the Bible.